Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
So this thought for the day was actually made over a couple of days because it's important, I think. You know, I don't want people to get the wrong impression, and I'm not bagging anyone. I'm just fine that I'm pretty certain I'm not the only person that's ever been in this situation, and, you know, I don't want to upset people in any way. I just want to be honest and put my thoughts out there, and hopefully, you know, it encourages someone. You know, like I said, the reason I make these videos is to process my own thoughts, especially since my heart attack and stroke. And so I'm going to keep doing them. If you want to watch these videos, great. If you don't, I'm okay with that, because I'm doing them for me, to be honest. I'm being really selfish and doing it for myself, because talking to the camera helps me unload. It helps me put things into perspective, and I've come to a lot of conclusions that I wouldn't have otherwise come to had I not been making these videos. So I shall continue, no matter. Yeah, so I haven't made one of these videos for a while, and the reason being is just recently, or a little while ago, weeks ago, somebody said something about my videos that threw me, and I stopped making them. You know, I actually believed and took hold of what they said, and I stopped making these videos. But I love making these videos for no other purpose, to be honest, than I find it therapeutic since my heart attack. You view life so differently after a traumatic experience in your life, and for me, in a funny kind of way, this is a part of my healing process. This is a part of sharing who I am, because this is my way of expressing or unloading or processing what's in my mind. You know, a lot of things happened during my heart attack that really challenged me, that challenged my thinking, that gave me a whole different perspective on life and how I view things. I actually had a good friend of mine mention to me, Phil, you're a lot more blunt these days, and I don't think they were quite sure how to handle it, because they made a comment on one of my posts on Facebook, and I came back with a pretty short, sharp response, and I wasn't doing it to intentionally be rude to them, but there's certain things now that I see as really quite trivial in life that I probably used to take too seriously. But that's probably another video. I think sometimes in life we can find ourselves in situations and we're like, how the heck did we end up here? You know, what am I doing here? Why am I not doing what I'm really excited about, or something like that? And I thought about this person's comment, and it sort of kind of cut me deep, in a sense that, well, it was enough to stop me making videos. And I thought, wow, that's kind of crazy that I actually let that happen, because I thought I knew better. It's reminded me of when I was at school, and I've shared this story with a few people, and the reason I've shared this story is because I've talked to so many people now that have had similar experiences in life. You know, I remember when I was at school, you know, when I was at school, you have to do all the IQ tests and crap, and I was told I could be anything I wanted in life, basically, that you know, I had the ability to choose what I want to do with my life. And here I am living in a bus like a hippie. Yeah, I chose to be happy. The thing is, I remember, and it's so vivid, in primary school, and you do those little reading books, the little ones like, and the duck went in the water, turn the page, and the duck got wet. You know, those sort of little books, illustrated tiny little things. And we were doing our reading session at school, and the teacher was calling each one of us up to read to her. And I remember reading, and I remember halfway through a sentence she put her hand over the next word and said, "What's the next word?" I said, "I don't know, I'm not up to that word yet." And she said, "Well, you don't know how to read properly then. You should always be reading the word ahead." And I'm like, what? Nobody's told me this. I just read how I read. And I actually never read another book until I left school. And that's even at high school. We were given books. I got into so much trouble at high school because I never used to hand assignments in because I would never read the books. And that was just one comment that a teacher had made so many years ago really determined my future of reading books, you know, and school. And I remember another class I was in, and I remember one day the maths teacher, he was obviously having a bad day. And I remember he turned around to me, and I was acting up a bit in class, so, you know, fair enough. But I remember he turned around to me and said, "You were a mistake, you were born." And what he didn't realise is that I'm actually adopted. I'm not angry about any of that. I'm not even angry about what this person has said recently about my videos. I know in the back of their mind they were meaning well, but the delivery wasn't so tactful, that's all, you know. And I don't know if you're watching this and you've ever been in a situation in your life where, you know, you've had a dream or you've had a goal or you want to be living a certain way, but somebody has said something to you that has caused you to step back from that, to hold back, to stop doing something. See, the thing is, people will be quick to make conclusions based on what they see around them. You know, it was interesting, it really kind of highlighted the point to me. The other day we took Ziva to a wildlife zoo, or a zoo that had, you know, lions and tigers and stuff, and was having a great time. And then we were looking at the bird cages, and Cindy was reading out, she saw this hand-painted sign on one of the birds' cages, and she read it. I'll show you the sign, here it is here. And she read it and said, "That sign doesn't make sense." And I sort of moved around the cage a little bit, and then I reread the sign to her, and she's like, "How did you get that out of that sign?" But then she noticed that half the words were painted on one side of the door and half the words were painted on the other side of the door, so you had to read right across. But the way she was looking at it, she could only see half the picture, and she was trying to come to a conclusion based on half the information, or half the knowledge, or half the understanding of what was actually there. It wasn't until I shifted my perspective and could work out and see the whole thing, it suddenly made sense. And I think sometimes as people we can be a little bit quick to put others into boxes or jump on them in some way to, you know, because we may not be seeing the whole picture. If somebody has, you know, put you down in some way, or just made a comment that's, you know, cut deep or hurt you in some way, you know, try and let it go. You know, try and move past it. You know, we're not always good at doing that, but well, I know I'm not, but you know, just understand that they're looking from their perspective of life. They're looking from their own hurts or letdowns or disappointments. And, you know, I know, for example, with my sister, you know, she's gone to the point that, you know, she'll have nothing to do with me now, and that's her choice. But she has badmouthed me to friends and family based on her understanding and based on her own letdowns in life. And, you know, as much as it annoys me at times, you know, that I no longer have that relationship with my sister, I do understand where she's coming from, because she is seeing it from her perspective, and to be honest, she's got half a story in her head, and I know that for a fact, where she's kind of always felt that I'm the favourite child, for example, and yeah, and that's because I'm adopted, and she always felt that I was more looked after or more cared for, or stuff like that. But it was actually, what she never realised is it was actually the other way around, you know. And it's because there were certain family members that struggled with me being adopted, and that I wasn't blood related. I never felt that connection that she would have felt with the family, you know. And so she's probably never realised that, and she can't understand what it's like to be adopted, so I get that. So there's so many different things in life where we come to these conclusions based on our perspective. So, you know, if somebody has said or done something, try and let it go and move on, you know. And maybe even, you know, I've got to check myself at times because I'm quick to make assumptions about people based on my perspective of life. So it's funny how we all sort of think we've got the answer, but the problem is none of us probably really have, and that's why communication is a great thing. So, yeah, be encouraged, people, and enjoy your day.